Welcome to One Day in a Wake Up, a show about doing time, getting out, and where you are now. In prison slang, one day in a wake up means you're almost free. Just one more day before they walk you out the gate. So let's walk out together. One Day in a Wake Up on Colorado Radio for Justice.
Thank you so much for joining us here at One Day in a Wake Up. You could be anywhere in the world, but you are here today listening, watching, soaking in this good information, man. If you didn't know, this is a production of Colorado Radio for Justice. I am your formerly incarcerated host, Herbert Alexander. And today, if you're not really familiar with what we do here, this show, One Day in Wake Up, is basically a show where we conversate a little bit about incarceration, but mainly like to focus on reentry. We want to talk about the obstacles our guests go through to succeed, to get off paper, to get off parole. These sometimes these obstacles are a little tough to get around, and people don't understand. Now, my guest is the director of development at the Convergent Reentry Skills Academy. Quick story: we met around 2017, somewhere around there. I was getting my paperwork ready, to hit the courts. All my appeals had got shot down, and I had to get ready to do with 35C, which is ineffective assistance of counsel. I got lucky and got through the first stages, ended up getting an attorney. Me and my man here had the same attorney. I'm not going to say his name, but we had the same attorney. And I had a motion written out, ready to go, ready to get shipped to the courts. And I had seen our guest around before. I'd seen him around, and I've heard about him. I heard that he dabbles a little bit in the law. And he's very, 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 very conceited about the law and his knowledge of the law, y'all. I want y'all to know that. But I went to him and I said, hey, man, it was right before count time. I had my motion with me. I said, hey, I know you really don't know me, but do you think you can look at my motion and tell me what you think? Because I just wanted to get a feel of, what I was ready to get into. Count ends. He comes down. He looks at me and he says, hey, we sit down in this room. We sit down in this room. And he says, hey, if you turn this in, you'll be in prison for the rest of your life. Now, I may be laughing now. I mean,
he wasn't laughing then.
It sounds funny now. But when somebody tells you that, and you're like, and you kind of have some type of optimism that what you're about to do is going to get you out of the joint, woo, that was a blow to the chest. But, things ended up working out. We put together some great ideas.
Some great jailhouse lawyering.
Yeah, some great. And that's the thing. My man is, this is jailhouse lawyering at its finest. Not just, jailhouse lawyering, copy and paste motion type things. My man really helped me understand what these motions are about and what needs to be placed in these motions if you're looking to get any type of action. So
when we're talking about and
wait a minute now, man.
Okay.
Hold on, man.
All right.
So I like to introduce my partner, you know what I'm saying? My ace boom coon, my jailhouse attorney, straight up, man. Rick Dreyer, everybody. Let's give him a hand. Thank you for joining us today, Rick. How you doing?
I'm doing great. And one of the greatest things that happened to me was seeing you with your family when we came to the launch of the radio station. Yeah. Because if there's a guy who did not deserve to be in prison, he's sitting right here to my side. And one of the things we talk about in terms of reentry is also true about how you live your life. And so even coming from different sides of the yard, we knew one another to be stand-up guys. And that made a difference because I am kind of snooty and I didn't talk to just anybody. And
so I took a chance to go holler at you, man.
Yeah.
I took a chance. You know what I'm
saying? So many people who don't deserve to be in prison are in prison. That doesn't mean there aren't a few that deserve to be there. And you and I would agree on that. But so much of it comes down to the representation of the legal system. And if you haven't had a good lawyer or don't know how to approach post-conviction relief, there's a whole system set up where truly people aren't taking care of you. I have to say that my jailhouse lawyering helped you, and I was working on myself, but that isn't what happened to free me. I got
Okay.
a letter from.
Hold up. See,
Okay.
this is what happened when you get these jailhouse lawyer smart ass dudes to come on your show. They keep rolling. So I just want to explain to you. So like the show is called One Day in the Wake Up, and basically I want to talk to you about your feelings and what you were going through the night that you were getting ready to come home.
Okay.
All right. So how long was your stay in Hotel Hell?
Well, my sentence was 138 years.
Okay.
My stay was 13 and a half years.
So it's safe to say that you weren't in and out the prison system, the jail system, or anything like that.
No.
All right. Now, when you catch your case and you're in the cuffs and you're spending your first night in jail, and this is your first time doing this, what was racing through your mind? How were you handling and coping with this? Because to me, I think it would be some form of a traumatization if it's not something that you've dealt with on a regular basis.
Well, you're right. It's traumatizing from my background or yours, and everything. We've known a spectrum of people, right? To be apart from your family, to have the burdens in your case and in my case, the sentences were long enough that we were expected to die in prison, really.
Correct.
And so that's a whole different thing. I was sustained by a kind of a leave it to beaver attitude or a Boy Scout attitude to always do the best you can where you are, try to help other people. That doesn't mean it wasn't a crushing blow.
Yeah.
I believed from day one that I was going to be freed because ridiculous is ridiculous. And I always thought it was going to happen by my winning in court. And as you know, instead, I got a letter from the governor that said, because of your character and your case, I'm in essence ordering your immediate release. And that happened.
What year did that happen?
That happened at the end of 20 during COVID.
2020.
So
you've been out since 2020.
Yeah, I got out a few weeks later. Okay. Immediate doesn't mean immediate, even with the governor saying so, but within a couple of weeks. And it was only a few months before that I had been persuaded to start the mechanism of applying for clemency, which, as you know and I know from so many of our friends who have been unsuccessful, it's a years-long process that virtually always ends in nothing happening. In my particular case, due to a lot of support from some tremendous people in the legislature, business community, my family, my wide circle of friends, and good things happening. Just a few weeks later, I get called in to the case manager's office and was on the first Zoom of my life with the governor's office and got the good news. And
let me ask you something.
Sure.
Was this something that was expected after when you put the application in?
In my heart, yes, but in common sense, no. It's a years-long process. The clemency board, I learned very quickly, took up my case, and nothing's official, but rumor has I got unanimous, because that's the first step before the governor looks at anything. And the head of DOC, people from the faith community, business community, they usually have an ex-offender on the board. Governor Polis has, and other folks look at everyone's petitions, and there are hundreds of them every year. Yeah, and but I was told that almost immediately I got a unanimous referral, and then it's usually years that it sits on people's desks,
and
but
before the governor looks at it and sends it off.
So I'm very blessed. I look at it that way, but it's created the same responsibility, I know, because we've talked a lot about it, that you feel in the kind of work that you did while you were still incarcerated. You and the great Ryan Canaro and your partners. I mean, you guys were doing some fabulous work while in prison, and you're continuing to do that here. We're doing the same thing. That's what Convergent Reentry Skills Academy is all about.
We're going to get to that. See, this is what I'm talking about. He keeps doing it. All right. Now, what we're doing is we're going to take that night when you're getting ready to go home. Okay. You got your letter. You're ready to go. You got your property bag. Everything's packed up.
Right.
How was your one day in a wake up?
Okay. Well, remember this was at COVID lockdown, and it was the third wave of COVID. So all of us were locked down virtually all the time at this point.
Yeah.
And so it's a little bit different in that, as you know, we had a wide circle of friends, a wide circle of almost family, I would say at that point, and mainly from incarcerated folks, but not excluding some of the folks in administration and wearing blue rather than green. But that was kind of denied me even for that one day because of the virus. But knowing it was coming, it's a specific date, a specific time is a real thing. As you say, all of our property is in the room, and it's a lot of reflection. They come, and a little bit different from most nights is they take everything out because they want to go through it before you leave when you give it when you get it back. So in a sense, you're sitting there in a situation very similar to intake, which had been a decade earlier or more for me. We're with nothing in the room at all. Naturally, you're thinking about all you've learned from the experience. And in my case, I was thinking about what is my responsibility to take this experience and turn it into a positive for myself, for my family, for my friends, and for the larger world. So I did a lot of praying that night.
For sure. So you didn't have to deal with any halfway houses. So were you just strictly on a parole type setting?
Yes. Even when the governor kicks you out, that eliminates your sentence. But all sentences have parole in Colorado. The difference is, at least it was for me, a couple of things. I didn't have the slightest contact other than I tried, and they said, "You've received clemency. Good luck. Goodbye." And that was pretty much my my social intercourse. Okay. Because of my work, I have had a lot of dealings with parole because a lot of them are very proactive, helping people re-enter. Think they do terrific work. But in terms of my own personal burden, that was nothing. And then a year later, I got a phone call. I saw it said DOC, and they called and said, you've been discharged. And I said, I almost, being the jailhouse lawyer, I'm not a real lawyer, by the way. He's giving me a hard time. I am not. But I do know how to read. But I saw it was DOC, and they said, you've been discharged. This is almost 1 year to the date. I almost argue. I said, well, you can't do that. I have, it says right there in the law. But I was a good enough lawyer not to argue with him.
Yeah.
And so that was it.
Yeah. Funny, strangely enough, that the same thing happened to me. I had already, I knew that I put in for early release, but I really didn't expect a lot from it. You know, I was, poof, it happens. Hell yeah. If it doesn't, keep moving how we're moving. So,
Well, in a similar way, you earned it, because it was when you won our 35C,
yeah.
and they gave you an outdate. It wasn't immediate.
Mhm.
But what you had done in the run up to it, I was proud of you then. I'm proud of you now.
Thank you, man. I
And
appreciate it. man.
everything you did. I mean, you progressed to Trinidad, wasn't it? From
No, I went to Buny.
Buny, okay,
Yeah, I went to Buena Vista.
to run the radio station there.
Yeah.
And so, in a real sense, when they look at you for early release, they had already made a judgment about you,
Yeah,
and it's the
that's-
correct one.
And I that's what I'm thinking that it was, you know. And
They
I
had
try
already
to, I had
said,
to, yeah, I try to explain that to people, like, hey, get it ready, because you know, just like they already prejudge you for the bad shit that you do,
yeah.
I think they'll prejudge you for
In
the
my
good
case, I've never
things.
done any of
You know what I'm
that. So, but I've read about it in Time magazine.
Yeah. Okay. So you get out to the world. What was the first job? What was your first task?
Well, I have a wide network of friends, and I was fortunate enough that my best friend, who's a big real estate developer, his sons and mine were in Boy Scouts together. He came to pick me up, because I had cleverly moved my family to the Carolinas, knowing that I could never be convicted of bogus charges, but was. And so my immediate family was in the Carolinas. One of my sons had moved back here, so I had some family, but I stayed with travel back to the family with my friend in Highlands Ranch. She's a big enough house that it was kind of a separate apartment within the house, and so I didn't have an uncomfortable situation. I had enough income, just because I know I don't look it, but I'm old enough for Social Security. So,
yeah, they give Social Security at 32.
yeah, I know. Isn't it
It's
strange?
crazy.
If
man.
you have a good lawyer, you can get it at 32.
Definitely.
So I was blessed that way. I didn't have to worry about day-to-day living, but I did have to worry about what I was going to do, and that's of course, like you. I know we had this discussion. We didn't know for sure that our story is going to end as happily as they did, but I think it's fair to say, Herbert, that we both had that belief always at the beginning.
Yeah.
And so I had to figure out exactly how I was going to give back and get my head straight. It's harder than you think, even for people like you and me who are blessed. We have support, and I know your story on leaving, and you know mine, but not everybody has that, and yet it's hard enough for us, isn't it? It's a weird thing. I don't think most people cry at the first display of avocados they see in a grocery store, for example, right?
Yeah.
And just the strange spatial stuff we were talking about. How at lunch you were telling me about some of your experiences. People who don't know how to talk to other people. We, oddly enough, feel there's a tremendous amount of rudeness, things that would never happen where we were. And you have to think, holy smokes, it's just funny because you'd be checked pretty severely for that
It's like
same
there's
kind
it's like there's a rudeness contest.
yeah, I
out here.
know.
Like,
And
let's see who can be the most rude.
I know.
Yeah, like that's the thing. Like it's a rudeness thing. Like where I'm from and how you act. Like if you're rude, then you're being a rude because you want to take it somewhere.
Yeah.
Like or you're ready to take it somewhere in that fashion. Like people are just being rude just to be rude and then walk away.
Yeah.
Like they leave me so unsatisfied. Like it's crazy.
I know. Not
Like, can we finish this? Or
not
what?
not that we did anything like that, but we've read about it in Time magazine.
Yeah,
Right?
for sure. All right. So talk to me about Convergent
Okay.
and you being
Now you're begging me to talk to you about it.
yeah.
Did you notice he did not let me the first 7 times?
Yeah, we didn't want to hear about that. All right. Right now, we want to talk about you being the director of development at the Convergent Academy.
Right. And all of us in our circle, and it's kind of strange when you think back in your mind's eye into the unit we were living in. We were surrounded by people who had life without parole, who had 132 years, who had 68 years, right? Or what it was
64.
Oh, okay, sorry.
64. Yeah, don't put that 8 on that extra.
64 years, so you would have been possibly paroled at 92. And folks that we know, a lot of them now are free. And it isn't that the system is easy or weak, quite the contrary.
Yeah.
I think it's a reflection of who you are, a reflection of who I am, that this very small group of people in a system that is largely unforgiving have found their freedom, and all of them are doing great things.
And I try to express that a lot. Like, man, if you do the right thing, just be cool, you'll get home. But it's not like it's easy. You don't just do the right thing. You know what I'm saying? You still have to work.
Right, and it's not certain, and
It's
you're right, and it's reflected in a lot. There are a lot of good people also doing the right thing that haven't had those gates swing open for them yet. But I think the thing that I knew, I remember seeing kind of a transformation in you, and when you decided to do the right thing, start behaving the right way, not tactically, not so this will get me home.
Yeah, no.
But because it was the zen of it. You were doing it
the
because
right thing is the right thing to do.
the right thing is the right thing to do.
Like as simple as that.
That is.
I want to do the right thing. I want to be a good man. Even though I'm in this shitty place, let's be good men. Let's find a way, to show our loved ones that
and every one of our friends are like that. And we had I was with another person who through one of the programs had life without, and he had a different path from yours, from ours, from all my book clubs and all that stuff. But he went in on a restorative justice visit with the great Senator Pete Lee, and he described his life in talking to the people in the restorative justice. And then one day, he, for whatever reason, decided that behavior wasn't paying off, even in the moment when he was running stuff. And I don't know what touched his heart. I'd like to claim it was one of my book clubs, but he was never in one of them, so it certainly wasn't me. But he just started doing the right thing, as you said, Herbert. And lo and behold, here it was a few years later, and he and I are going with these wonderful people for restorative justice.
All right, I need 1 minute or less. Tell me about Convergent, bro.
Can't do it in a minute, but I can do it in 3 minutes.
3 minutes. Let's do it.
All right. why are people successful when they get out? And what about those horrible recidivism rates? That is not only a human tragedy for the individuals involved or individuals that may be affected in bad ways, it is a failure of the whole system. And when you look at the community that you had, your family community, uh, uh, we also had a path to make it. We know how to work. We know how to do the right thing, be productive. There are lots of folks who come out missing three things, and the first thing is getting their head and their heart straight, and knowing cognitive skills, knowing how to take responsibility, knowing how to go over, under, around, and through obstacles. A lot of that is learned behavior. And so getting folks the power to do that really enables them. It isn't us doing anything. It's each individual, but we can be a tool. They could be the farmer, we could be the John Deere tractor. And so what Convergent does is we look at the three division: cogent thinking, which is peer support, life skills training; work skills university, where we actually get someone trained in a trade or a functional skill for computer skills, or
Okay.
our veterans returning face a lot of the same trauma because reentry is difficult. There are folks isolated by age or circumstance, generational poverty that has ground down individuals and families. If we give them those three things, if we give them cognitive skills and a community of support, if we give them training and utility, so that the person on the other side of the desk benefits from having a terrific person in their business or in their nonprofit in relationship with them. And then the last piece is placing them.
Okay. All right. So I take it through your organization, you meet a lot of people fresh out of prison.
Yes,
A lot.
yes,
All right. And in your age, because your age and you have a lot of experience, you're 39 on reverse day.
right. That's
Um,
on reverse day, right?
um, um, what is your best piece of advice that you give to somebody fresh out to help them make it to where you are, to where I am, to where others are who've made it successfully, as to not going back to the joint?
That's a great question, Herbert, and it comes right down to the first thing. Uh, the number one thing is the labels you put on yourself, and we discussed. I saw it. I mean, I almost can remember the light in your eye when you decided, I'm not that guy anymore. I'm a good man from this point forward. Now, I, of course, didn't have that issue because I was always a good man. But
Yeah,
when you see that light,
that's what they said.
when you see that light go on, and so I tell people that's the first thing. Don't believe those lies. And the second thing is, or another way of putting the same thing, I guess, is taking agency. You're the person who is going to take the history you have and the hurdles you have to overcome, and you're still going to do a great job. And you're going to take care of that employer. You're going to take care of that parole officer. You're going to take care of the kids that'll be looking up to you.
Mhm.
You're going to take care of doing the right thing when doing the right thing is hard, when no one's looking but you. And if you put
Definitely.
that label on yourself, then your life changes.
That's the ticket, dog. Like just hearing that right there. Being a good person when nobody's watching.
That's it.
When nobody's watching, can you do that? Can you
Yeah.
be him?
Then you
And
are him. If I can say a couple of things about these guys, Seth, Ryan, Herbert,
I've
it's so important to communicate with people. And that is a big burden.
Thank you, man.
Support them if you can.
Thank you. Man, that was a great conversation. I don't know about y'all. I had a good time. A man here, laced us with a lot of things. This is Rick Dreyer. Again, I'm Herbert Alexander. Happy to be living, not in prison. We are out here, Colorado Radio for Justice. One day in the wake up. I hope all your pain is champagne. Please join us again for One Day in the Wake Up right here on Colorado Radio for Justice. Thank you. Peace.
To who it may concern, I'm at the point of no return. It took a couple round trips in order for me to learn, and I ain't never going back. Allow me to be exact. You let pain run its course till you're forced to adapt in the worst habitat. Speaking matter of fact, zigzagging through this maze with my brain still intact. Progress is the phase, the rest is just cap. What lurks after that? Fresh air don't care when you spent light years in a prison, shifting gears with the friction and the tears. Addictions in the rear, model for your peers. That's the sum of all fears. This is not a hot take. One day and awake till a steak on my plate. Kiss from my mate, life reanimate. Exist to be great. Let your thoughts elevate. Bend but don't break, cause your past and your future can no longer correlate.
One Day in a Wake Up is a production of Colorado Radio for Justice. Check out CRJ at radioforjustice.org and across social media at Radio for Justice. This episode of One Day in a Wake Up was produced by Herbert Alexander, along with Taylor Hanson, Ryan Conroe, and Seth Reddy. They are also the executive producer team for this show. The theme music is by Herbert Alexander. This is One Day in a Wake Up.